Hi everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den, and here we are at the last weekend of autumn here in Australia, and next week it will be winter time. Let's hope we get some really chilly weather. I'm looking forward to having the heater on a bit and everything, but it's been very warm and very dry. So this week we're going to do this card. It's called a double gatefold or up down up card. So this was my prototype, and I actually made a mistake with the sizing here, but I actually like that, so it's not so bad. And it stands up like this, so when it's standing up it looks like this, and it folds over to make a nice gatefold, and you write on the back. So that was my prototype one. Then I did this one as a craft day. Let's put that over there. As a craft day with my friend Frances, who helps me with the tutorials from time to time. And we did this one with the tulips, which is another old paper. And I was really happy with the way that and it stands up really lovely. So, and it folds in and in on top of each other. So, and you write on the back, and you've got a nice belly band just to hold it closed for those people that would like a card that closes. The belly band is optional if you don't want to put it on there. I also stamped colour on colour on my band, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to use some paper from the new catalogue called, oh, it's upside down, Florals in Bloom. And this paper, I'll turn it around this way so it's up the right way. It's quite nice, and we're going to be using this one, which is Shy Shamrock and Peach Pie on there. So that's last year's in colours, not this year's in colours. So, but this has got some lovely papers. That's a nice, they're all florally with a nice pattern on the back. That's very pretty. It's very bright, and that's nice on the back. That I like because it's greens. And I'm a green person, and I like the back because of that. That's the one we're using. And then we've got a nice purpley one, you know, so with this lovely, this is called Cloud Cover. So that's really pretty, and that's really very delicate colours, but the flowers are quite big, but it's nice, and the back is really nice too. So that's the paper we're using today. I'm just going to pop that back over there. And we're going to be using a couple of new sets. Well, that one's an old one. This set, I mean. This one, I'm not sure if it's been carried over or not, but I wanted the Happy Birthday, the Love, and Just For You, which I've already stamped, but I will show you what I did. And then we're going to use Impressions of Bloom, and I'm using this flower here. So, and I'm using that Happy Birthday, which I haven't stamped yet. So, okay, let me show you what you need, and it's quite a lot of bits and pieces. I'm also using this Heartfelt Hexagon punch. Let me move my phone in case it rings. I don't want to have to move everything out of the way, which I've already punched out. I've punched one out in the Shy Shamrock and one in white. We will actually cut the Shy Shamrock one and make it either bigger on either side. I've also stamped my flowers for the front of that to go on the belly band. They were this flower here, so the middle flower. But I'm going to do some on the back, so I'll be able to show you what we need. Okay, let me show you. Let's go through all of this. Ooh, looks like a mess, doesn't it? Okay. Alright, let's see. So, first of all, we need a card base. And I decided to make my inside piece a little bit shorter than most people, because I wanted to just use the whole sheet of card instead of having that piece left over. So this is 11 3/4 by 5 7/8. And then my inner card is 10 5/8 by 2 3/4. So if you cut that off of your A4 sheet, it's the right width. So once you cut the 5 7/8, that's the correct width there. All you're losing is that tiny bit just there. So that's those 2 pieces. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of, in your colour, that measure 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then you're going to need 1 in white and 1 in the DSP that measure 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So one's for the writing panel, one's for the inside of the card. Then you're going to need 2 that are, let me see, these are the smaller ones. 2 that are 1 1/2 by 5 5/8, and 2 pieces of designer series paper that measure 5 3/8 by 1 1/4. So let's pop them onto there. Then you're going to need 2 more pieces for the inside. Now this is optional, but I think it looks better with them. So they are 5 5/8 by 1 7/8. And then my 2 pieces of designer series paper, which measure 5 3/8 by 1 5/8. Then for your inner card piece, you're going to need 5 pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. The 2 1/8 is the height. So you are going to be careful when you do cut your DSP, that you cut your DSP on the longest piece as a portrait, and these measure 1 7/8 high by 1 5/8 wide. And I've done 2 in white, but you can do them all in the DSP if you want. And these measure the same, 1 7/8 high by 1 5/8 across. So you need 5 of those. And then you need your belly band, which is 9 1/2 by 1 1/4. Now don't worry about all the measurements, because the link will be down below here for you to go to my Facebook group, and there you can download the tutorial with all the measurements. And the measurements are in both, both in imperial and metric. So that way it doesn't matter if you prefer to use inches, which I do, or whether you prefer to use metrics, which I can visualize inches. I'm a bit older, but I can visualize the inches better than I can visualize metric measurements. So we're going to put our 11 3/4 piece by 5 7/8, which is our main card, into our scorer, and we're going to score this at 1 3/4 inch. We're going to make sure we have the small end because we're on cardstock. 1 3/4 inch. I'm actually going to have to do this on the other board, so I'm going to measure that one at 1 3/4 inch as well. There. And I'm going to do these all on my other board because I've got some weirdy measurements here. So let's bring this back in. Okay, so we got the wrong board in this time, so we're going to measure this one at 1 3/4 inch, which we've done. Oops, let's move them out of the way. I still prefer to use my thingy, so let's put that in there. Let me see, I've got this in the right. Hang on. There we go. I've got to move it down a tiny bit because the foot of my camera is in the way. Okay, 1 3/4 inch. And then we're going to 3 13/16. So that's 10, that's 12, that's 13. See, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No, that's not right, is it? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16ths, which is 1 mark under, so that's 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 5, 10, 12. It's 1 mark over the 3/4 of an inch mark. That one little mark, 1 mark over the 3/4 of an inch mark. So that's 3 13/16. Okay. If you turn the card around, it's just easier to do. We can do this again and pull that straight. So 1 3/4 and 3 13/16. Or we do 13/16 and then we do 7 15/16, which is 1 mark just below the 8 mark, which we can see that that's in the correct spot. See, right down there. And then the next one is at 10 inches. So, but I actually find it easier to do 1 3/4, 3 13/16. Turn it around, 1 3/4 and 3 13/16. Just because it's long. Okay, we're going to bring in our other one, and we're going to score this one at 2 1/8. I might as well do it on this board while I've got it. Pen up the right way. 2 1/8. 4 1/4. 6 and... I'm not sure what that says. That's a quarter. That would be 3/8. 3/8 would be just about there. And 8 1/2. So we have 5 sections that all measure 2 1/8 of an inch across. I can't even read my own writing. That's pretty bad when I can't even read my own writing, isn't it? Okay, so now we're going to actually fold and burnish these. So we're going to fold on our middle line, our second line in first, so that we know that we've got it straight along both edges there. And then we're going to fold the other one back. Now you'll notice that there is a gap, like it doesn't line up properly this side, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's not wrong. Okay, then we're going to turn this and we're going to do exactly the same from the other side. So making sure that we're level on both sides. And we're going to bring that down like so. I'm going to bring this one back. Oops. And fold that. And then when we bring that together, we should have this tinsy-wincy gap down the middle. Now that little gap there helps it when you put this one inside. If you do it the other way, where they are actually right touching, you will find that it will bulge, where this way it doesn't. And I like the fact that it doesn't bulge. And this will be 4 1/8 of an inch wide, which is the regular size of a card. Okay, so now we're going to fold this one. So we're going to fold this one at the second fold, making sure that it is nice and even. And then we're going to fold this one back, making sure it's nice and even. Then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to fold it at the second line first, because it's easier to get this straight from the second line in, which is the middle one, and then bring that one back. Okay, so this one is now going to fold inside itself, and you will find one way will probably fold better than the other. I don't know why, but I find that one way seems to fold a little bit better than the other. Once you've got the way that folds the best, just give it a nice burnish down again so that you know you've got it in the correct way, and it will always find that way then. Okay, so let's pop that piece out of the way, and we're going to work on this piece here, and we're going to bring in our pieces for the front and the inside. So, oops, we don't need that one, we want this one. This one. Okay, so we're going to pop our middle piece in first, which is our 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, with our DSP, which is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So they are going to go into the centre of the card like so. So I haven't opened my glue yet to check whether it's going to work properly because of this weirdy weather we're having. It's been unseasonably warm and unseasonably dry. But let's hope it will come soon. The glue's not come. Ouch! Did you see that? That stuck in my finger. There we go. This is a really weird weather, which is playing havoc with my garden. Nothing's growing properly. Half of it looks dead. Got that one done. Oh, that is really sore. Oh look, it even brought blood up. Better squish that out of the way. We don't want blood on our card, do we? And my glue is really playing havoc today too. And I know it's not empty. Okay, so we've put our middle piece in. Now we've got two pieces that are 1 7/8 and wide, and two pieces that are 1 1/4 wide. So we want the 1 1/4 size there and the 1 1/8 sides there. So because I want my fronts to match up, I want to make sure I put them in the right direction. Again, that is entirely up to you, but I just think that when they come together in the middle, if the pattern matches up, it looks a little bit better. Oh, my finger's really sore now. Okay, so we've got our 1 1/4 inch ones in there. And our 1 7/8 of an inch ones next. I just find it easier to put my middle one in first. I can then see the sides, the score lines a bit better. Okay, that's just me. I mean, if you want to go straight across, that's fine too. Ouch, my finger is really sore. And our lucky last one on this end. Okay, so we're going to turn that over and give them all a nice squish down. And now we're actually going to work on our writing panel for the back before we put our inner card in, because it actually makes it easier to put it on. So we're going to work on that. So I need a piece of scrap paper, which I've got here. And I'm going to stamp my happy birthday in, I've got my colours here. I'm going to stamp it in Shy Shamrock. Stamp that right in the middle there, really nicely. Happy birthday. Oops, there goes my phone. Let's move that one out of the way. So now I'm going to use peach pie and I'm going to use pecan pie for the centre. So I have my 2 flower pieces and my piece of scrap, because I'm just going to use the one that has all the markings on it first. That's got, and I'm going to stamp one in this corner and one in this corner, like so. Now with this stamp, this one stamps over the top of it. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to find where these match up. So the best way for me is to look at this pattern. You can see you've got 2 together there and then 2 together there, very close, which are those 4 there. So I'm going to pop that in there. Once I'm happy with where it's looking, I've got to get my head in the picture a little bit, I'm sorry. Pop that one on there over the top of that one. Turn it around, we'll do the same again. This time we have to look for the same ones. And my picture's around the opposite way this time, I think. No, it's not. It's around that way. And it looks like it's there. Nope, it's not there. Not there. That's more like it. You can see that they line up. And you're happy with that, press down. And you have your flower looking really nicely then. Oops, let's pop my lid on this glue ink. And I'm going to just pop my centres into my flowers. I'm only doing the one centre piece for these, because I don't think it needs the other bit to go with it. Okay, that's how easy it is to line those up. It does take a little bit of practice, but you do get there. Once you see it, you see it. It sounds silly to say, but once you see that it's lined up, it just stands out at you. I'm going to pop that one onto there. That's our routing panel for the back of the card. And we're going to glue that to the back of the card. So we need to make sure we got it the right way. So let's make sure we've got our card up the right way and turn it over before opening it up. That way you know that you've got it around the correct way and you haven't got your writing panel upside down. Okie dokie. Once we've got that in the centre there, like that, we can give that a nice wipe down as well. Alright, so that's our main card. As you can see, our main card, it's in the correct direction. Let's bring in all our little bits and our other piece. So I have done this so that I will do 5 panels across here, and I will put on my second panel and my 4th panel, oops, my words, and on my other ones I've put my flowers. So I'm going to glue those on like so. And then glue them to my other piece. Once I'm happy with all of them, right across. And as I say, if you don't want to watch me sticking all of these on, that's fine. Just whiz on down till you get to the end of that bit. I'm not offended. So that was 5 pieces at 2 1/8 and 5 pieces at 2 1/8 by 1 7/8, and then 5 pieces at 1 7/8 by 1 5/8. Now if you wanted to put a message on all of them, that's fine, you can do that too. There is no right or wrong to how you want to put these on here. If you wanted to mix and match them all up with different patterns, that's good too. But I think this is one of them cards too that will be nice for a Christmas card. Even though it's a bit early to be thinking about Christmas, not even 6 months into the year yet. And I only have 2 months before I become an age pensioner. How does that sound? That sounds awful, doesn't it? Here in Australia, pension age is 67. So that will tell you how old I am. Okay, so we've got our pieces on like that and we're happy with that. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to fold this the way it's going to fold, which is this way around. And I'm going to pop this into the centre of my card like so I can see. And I'm going to pop my glue onto the back of that middle section there after you've folded it. And we want it down nice and tight, so we're going to pop a nice bit of glue on there. And we're going to line this up in the middle of the card. Now you could sit here and measure it if you want, but I'm not going to. I'm going to eyeball it. That looks about even to me. It's about even from the top and the bottom and the sides. So I go by these sides, the edges. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to squish it down nice and tight and then bring it open like so. And then I'm going to close this side and pop that one on. Close this side, open that and pop this one in here like this. And this is how our card is going to sit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my card, open my card I should say. I'm turning it upside down. Open my little card, open my big card, and with my pencil I'm just going to make a mark just underneath that score line, because that is the bit that I need to stick. No, it's not. It's that bit I need to stick. Oh, I've really got this around the wrong way today, haven't I? I don't want to stick that bit. I want to stick this bit. Silly Willy. Okay. Once that's open, I'm going to pop that glue down there. I'm going to pop our pencil mark on there like that. So when we open that, that's going to stick on there. That's that piece there. So I don't want glue over the edge there. So I'm actually going to glue less than where my pencil mark is. And if you want to rub that off, you can. Let's rub that off so you don't see it. There we go. There we go. Pop that over and glue that down tight. Once you're happy with that, you're going to open the card up. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. We're going to pop that one over. I'm going to pop that one over. We know that where we need to do it. I'm just going to put a little mark top and bottom like that. So I know that I have to glue between those marks. Pop that one on. Making sure that's right. And there's no glue showing. If you open it up and you can see a little bit of glue, just wipe it away under there like so. I didn't have any, but I'm just showing you. If you did, just do it like that. Pop that in, pop that across, nice and tight. We know that it's going to fold that way better. So we've got our card done. So we're looking down, yeah, there's no glue showing anywhere towards. If there is and it's sticky and you've got like glue that once it dries sticky, just use your embossing buddy to run underneath there so that it puts a little bit of powder under those spots so that when it closes it's not going to stick on itself, because you don't want it to stick on itself. Okay, so now we're going to work on our belly bands. So let's start with this piece here. I'm going to cut this piece in half like so, and I'm going to glue this so that there's a tiny bit showing top and bottom. I'm not writing on this bit, so if I was going to stamp on here I would do that before I glued this on. As I'm not stamping on it, I'm just going to put the flowers on there. I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so that's my belly band piece. Oh, I do need the glue again, so let's not put that in there. We're going to put our belly band around our card, and nice and gently, because we want it to be able to sit down on it nicely, but we don't want it to be so tight that it won't move up and down. So I like that tightness. So once I'm happy with that tightness, I will then try it again. Yep, just squish it down on the side, so I can then double try that again. Yep, it's moving nicely. Alright, I prefer to do it that way. I prefer just to check it over and over again. Then we're just going to glue that together like so, making sure that again that it's level top and bottom. Doesn't matter if you didn't get a little bit of glue there, or if it does to you, just pop a little bit under, like so. Now I like my join at the front. Some people like to put it at the back, and this is going to sit on top like this. So we're going to get some dimensionals, and I'm going to put my dimensionals through the middle here like so, because I want this to sit up. But I don't want to put glue on the whole lot, because you never know if you've got it in the right spot. So I'm popping that over the top like so, and then I'm going to pop my flowers on here. Once again, I'm going to pop these on with dimensionals. So let's have a look. Let's pop dimensionals on the back of all of these. Oh, that is one. Okay, so then I'm just going to squick the edges up of my flowers so that they've got a bit of dimension as well. This is optional. Just be very careful that you don't rip them. It's very easy to, because they're quite fragile. And put my pin in my glue. Oh, I can feel it already drying. And then pop these on to my card front. One there. One there. And one there. I mean, they're going to sit down a bit if you pop the card in the post, because that's just the nature of what they are. Now I've got some embellishments here. Now these are the 2024-2026 shimmer gems. So these are going to look really nice on here. And you're going to want to put them onto your belly band, not on your card, because it makes it harder to get this on and off. So, okay, so I'm just going to use, I think I'm going to use these green ones, which are Shy Shamrock. Get off me. And I'm just going to put them in the spaces that are there. What have I got on my finger? I've got a little space just there. So I'm going to pop them in like so, just so that it gives it a bit of bling, and I think we need a little bit of bling every now and again. I wouldn't suggest you put any on the inside of the card, because I think that it would be just too bulky. You could if you wanted to, because it does sit up, as you can see, sits up a little bit, but you would have to have fairly flat gems. So anyway, that's our card for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. It does feel like wow when you open it. It sits like this, so it looks like a double gatefold card, or an up, down, up card, as they say. So I've slashed it, double gatefold, up, down, up card. and that's what I'm calling it. So I hope you've enjoyed today's card. Let's pop my belly band back on. As you can see, you don't want it too tight because you want to be able to get it over there. That's my card. Here's my other 2 cards that I made. Tell me which one you like the best. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a message for me. I do answer all the messages that come through. I always leave a comment if you comment on it. If you'd like the written tutorial for this, which as I say is in English, in metric and in imperial measurements, and it is in a European sizing. So just be aware of that. It's European sizing because Australia is a European sizing country. We use A4 paper, not letter paper like in America. So please be aware of that. I don't make cards in the other sizes because otherwise I have to make envelopes because we don't have envelopes in the other size. So if you've enjoyed these, please give me a thumbs up. Head down here for the link to my Facebook group. Don't forget, if you want to join, if you're not already a member, that you need to answer the question. I'm sorry, but I will not let you join my group if you're not going to answer the question. It's one easy question. If you can't answer the question, then I don't think, I'm sorry, but if you can't spend that little bit of second to answer the question, then I will send you a message letting you know that you haven't answered the question. If you'd like to answer it, we will accept you. And we look forward to seeing you all there. I will see you again next week in winter. Bye for now.